It was at 11 p.m. on the 8th of May 1945 that Adolf Hitler came to Wakefield. Welcome to the world of Histrionics, incredible tales from before the now. And that date, 8th of May 1945, I'm sure you all know by now, it's VE Day! Ha ha! Happy VE Day to you all. This is a Histrionics special here. Can you imagine what it would have been like on that day? Unbelievable. I was there. VE, Victory in Europe Day. At last! The Nazi threat is over. The Nazi party and their army, led by Adolf Hitler, who is now dead, is finished. They have surrendered. And all of those soldiers who are fighting in Europe, not just the Europeans, no, but the Americans and the Australians and the Canadians and the New Zealanders and the Russians and all of them everywhere, the Polish, goodness me, who knows, so many at last can rest, as can all of the people who were controlled by the Nazi party, all of the people who were living in countries that were controlled by them. They at last are now free of that horror. The nightmare is over and the party can now begin. Even for the Germans, even for those Germans that were persecuted or imprisoned by the Nazis. For them, life will be forever different from now on. Can you imagine what it was like? 7 a.m. in the morning, the ships in Southampton docks were communicating by Morse code, V for Victory, sounding their horns, their great searchlights going out over the water. And today, 200 Lancaster bombers are bringing 13,000 prisoners of war back from the front lines and from the prisons they have been in. For them, the war is done and their lives can begin anew. They were singing and dancing. 20,000 people packed into Piccadilly Circus. Unbelievable scenes. There were so many people in Victoria Station that women were fainting, and men and children, and had to be dragged away. So exhausted were they by waving their flags and shouting their heads off with excitement and happiness. At 3 p.m, Winston Churchill made his speech. We may allow ourselves a brief period of celebration and rejoicing, but we must not forget for a moment the toil and the efforts that lie ahead. He's talking, of course, about the fact that Japan have not surrendered, and there are a lot of our family and friends out there right now fighting against the Japanese. He went on to say, "You must also remember that almost the entire world was united against these evildoers." When he says that, all of Parliament Square gasps at the realisation of the sacrifice on a global scale that has been undertaken. And the celebrations go on and on all over. The royal family makes several appearances on the balcony at Buckingham Palace, and Winston Churchill appears again at the Ministry of Health, waving to an unbelievable crowd, saying, "This is your hour. This is your victory." And Adolf Hitler is defeated and done. People can't believe it. People are putting up pictures of the king and the royal family everywhere, and Winston Churchill making the V for Victory sign. And they're not just partying in London. Oh no, in Manchester, the tram drivers decided just to stop working so they could join in the fun and get out. And, would you believe it, street parties, great big tables stretched along the rows of streets with everybody coming out, eating cakes and drinking alcohol. The government had to check there was enough in the country and we wouldn't run out. There are people even eating fruits and vegetables they've not seen before because of food rationing. And one of my mates ate a whole orange, including the peel. He didn't know he wasn't supposed to and he was very sick. And I saw a little girl be given a banana. She had no idea what to do with it. So she put it in a pram and pushed it around like a very unappealing baby. And then, of course, 11 p.m, Wakefield, Hitler came. Not the real one, though, eh? Oh, not the real Hitler. No, this was a dummy, like a guy. You see, I'm a member of the Wakefield Operatic and Dramatic Society, and we decided to get a hearse with a pretend Hitler in it. And then me and 50 servicemen pushed the hearse all around the centre of Wakefield to cheering crowds, waving flags. There was me, a load of other boys out there, and the mayor, and an actor dressed as Winston Churchill. Another one as the President of the United States, Truman, and another one as Joseph Stalin. And wouldn't you know it, the one dressed as Stalin was the most popular with the ladies. What's that about, eh? Well, at least you can tell you're in Wakefield when Joseph Stalin goes down a lot better than any man dressed in uniform. Still, we took the body of Adolf Hitler, the pretend body that is, we took it up to a great big park and we set fire to it. And there were bonfires all over. St. Paul's Cathedral has lit up for the first time in 6 years. And behind it, the sky glows red. There were so many bonfires in the East End. People were passing wood and old deck chairs to each other in parks next to Buckingham Palace and burning those as well. And there's no need to blackouts. There's not going to be any German air raids. So everybody was going around turning all the lights on and lighting all the candles, opening the curtains, wandering out into the streets, seeing what it looked like with the lights on. Like a city should. Well, that's enough from me. You lot out there, you enjoy your VE Day. Dress up whatever you like. Winston Churchill, the President of America, a mayor, a soldier, whatever you want. Just go crazy. Enjoy. Eat lots of cake. Drink lots of tea. Party and dance like everybody's watching, because it doesn't matter if they do. It's VE Day. 75 years ago this year. And remember, if you're a little bit worried about looking silly, if you're a little bit worried about looking a bit daft, well, don't. Actors don't, do they? They don't mind dressing up and getting silly. And as rumour would have it, it was an actor that wrote the surrender. It was an actor that wrote that piece of paper on which the surrender was signed. Just imagine how many lives that piece of paper saved. John Counsell was his name, actor and theatre director at the Theatre Royal in Windsor. So, be inspired by the silliness. Dress up, dance about, stay in, eat cake, picnic inside, whatever you want to do. Get your Tommies in the window and have a lovely VE Day. Cheers, everybody. Stay safe.